Okay, in this video we're going to ask the question, are borderlines sociopathic? Sorry, okay. Are borderlines sociopathic? So first, I'm making these series of videos because I am a survivor. I am a survivor of a borderline personality disorder, significant other relationship. It was a girlfriend that I was with for a few months, and it was the most toxic, the most chaotic, dramatic, painful, confusing, damaging relationship of my life, and that's including a 10-year relationship with an ex-wife that was not so pleasant. So you need to know that borderline personality disorder is not just your crazy ex who has problems, your crazy jealous ex. It's not that. This is borderline personality disorder is a very serious mental illness, and you need to understand that. If you're in a relationship, you need to first and foremost know that they have a mental illness. If you are with a borderline who is, and we're talking full-blown borderline, not just somebody with borderline tendencies, borderline personality disorder, if they are not in therapy, they are incapable of having a relationship with you in any normal sense of the word, which is, you just need to know that. So if you are in that and you're trying to figure out what is going on, because it's extremely confusing, and it's because it's a mental illness, not just somebody who has emotional issues, that's why it's so confusing. But it won't work. It will never be a normal relationship unless they get targeted therapy. My understanding is that there is a high degree of recovery rate for borderlines who get targeted help. But like any disease, if you've got a disease that needs a cure from a doctor, if you don't go to the doctor, the disease doesn't go away on its own. Borderline will not go away on its own. I hear people say that. I can't imagine that happens. The woman I was with, I can't imagine her ever recovering on her own. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, point being, I'm saying that to you because you're probably confused, you're probably feeling doubt and shame and wondering, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. They have a mental illness. You need to understand that if you're going to choose to be with them. All right. So, are borderlines sociopathic? So you've heard the two terms sociopath and psychopath. So a psychopath is a sociopath as well, but a psychopath is somebody who has violent tendencies. A sociopath doesn't necessarily have violent tendencies, but sociopaths are humans who have either a brain issue or psychological and or both, and as a result they do not have empathy for others. The empathy that they have might not even be anything like yours. My experience with borderlines is that they do present empathy, but it is not true empathy. In other words, if you're sad and you're with them in the moment, they can show empathy, feel sorry for you, and take care of you. They may even in the moment feel a strong desire to take care of something. Oh, like my ex would say, God, your ex-wife didn't do that for you. We're going to heal that. We're going to heal all of that in you, and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. She never was any of those things. She never followed through with that. Not because she didn't mean it in the moment, but because she didn't have the identity in order to root that in and have true empathy. So her empathy was superficial. It was like watching a movie. When you watch a love movie and you cry because, that is not true empathy, because as soon as the movie is over, you wipe your tears and you go, that was cool. Okay, now what do you want to do? That's not true empathy. It's sort of a masturbatory, emotional experience. The thing you need to know about borderlines is that they are addicted to your emotions, your positive emotions. So let's talk about how borderline personality, as I understand it, is formed. When a child, an infant from birth to age 4, that is the most important developmental stage. In those stages, infants become extremely intuitive. They have to, because they need to know how to emotionally manipulate their caretakers in order to feed them. That's what crying is all about. And all of those things are designed to manipulate, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but to stimulate their caretakers to take care of their needs. So when the parents do not give those needs, are not there, either there is neglect, like they're left alone for hours at a time. If the parent does not give proper mirroring, where they look in the face and they repeat, the baby goes coo, and the parent goes coo, and they mirror back, or they mirror back feelings, or those kinds of things. If the parent is not consistent in their rewards for their behavior, or if they get conflicting stimulus, like if they do one thing one day and get rewarded, and they do the same thing the next day and they get punished, or they do the same thing next day and nothing happens, this creates a lack of ability for the child to create an identity, a sense of self. So borderlines have within them this huge, huge black hole that is filled with anxiety and insecurity and chronic, like it's horrifically painful. They are living with this huge, horrific black hole in them all the time. Now, because they're probably highly intelligent, so they've come up with very complex, sophisticated self-defense techniques, and they can present themselves to the world as being high functioning and normal and very intelligent and very capable. And in many cases, they are extremely intelligent. But because they don't have a sense of self, they aren't able to follow through with desires, thoughts, commitments, and so they also don't have empathy. Not in the same way that you do. So that is sociopathic. Now this will be proven to you because when you're in the phase of they idealize you, which is a 2-year-old looking up to mommy who's doing whatever mommy does, mommy or daddy, when they're in that phase, you will think that they love you. You will think that they have empathy. Because they will present that. Now they're not lying to you, they're not trying to pretend they're something they're not. Like a 2-year-old, they are highly emotional and they have a lot of emotions, including love, but it's love at a 2-year-old level. Bear in mind that they cannot see you, they will see you as a parent figure. So that means that even if you're their friend, they are going to depend on you the same way a 2-year-old depends on their parent, which is why they're so easily disappointed, and that disappointment is so severe. Because their emotional need to feel good is so strong, as well as needing to be distracted from the intense anxiety and emptiness within them. They will respond very rashly. That's why the ones that get angry. The ones that are quiet run off and hide. Okay? So what I'm saying is that there will come a point where you will see that you will give them love, and in my experience, the girl I was with, the deeper the emotional connection and love the night before, which she loved, that would create in the next day, especially if I went home, I wasn't around for her to wake up to and make her feel good. After that intensity, when I was no longer there to create the loving feeling in her, the fear of intimacy would kick in, and the next day she would have remembered 1 or 2 things that I have said. And she will bring that up, and not only bring it up, but focus only on those 1 or 2 things that triggered her, made her feel insecure. And she will break up with me, and I can never see you again. Not only just break up, but I can never see you again. You are a very toxic, dangerous person and you're trying to destroy my sense of self, and you're trying to destroy my my life that I'm trying to create, and you're trying to discourage me, and things that just weren't true in the slightest. And then she'd break off all contact and unfriend me from Facebook and block her phone and whatever else. So you will find out that they don't truly have empathy, and that they are sociopathic, and that they are not aware of how much damage they cause. In the moment when they're breaking up with you, all they can see is their own need and that you are a threat. You stop becoming a person to them. And so they will say and do horrible, cruel, cold things that you couldn't have even imagined. In my experience, when you are the most vulnerable and you need them the most, which is a normal relationship is, one person is needy, then you're needy, you create closeness, and you take care of each other. Somebody needs support, you support them. You need support, they support you. The borderline, you never know. If they're supporting you, something is making them feel good in the moment and they feel okay. But as my ex said to me to my face, after spent hours taking care of her and pouring all this feeling to make her feel good, and then I said, wait, what about me? I need some love, I need some attention. She said, I'm not just going to drop everything for you. They don't have the ability. They don't have true empathy. This is a mental illness. It is a personality disorder. And so, yes, they are sociopathic. They don't have true empathy. They have a pseudo-empathy, but the thing is, even if they have true empathy in the moment, it will not last. Because the moment any other feeling comes in and sweeps that away, they will forget. And even if they mentally remember, emotionally, the sense of self, which remembers, like a hard drive remembers it and brings it back up, that's not there. So they're only able to give you what is being stimulated to them in the moment. Okay? So you need to be aware of this. If you have borderline, you need to know that you have the potential to cause huge, huge damage to people in ways you are not aware of. If you do have borderline, I can guarantee you are causing damage and you don't know you're doing it. You need to get targeted therapy to help you create that sense of self and understand and be able to know how you're hurting people with your behavior and how to stop and change that. Because the bottom line is that you can be loved too. You can have a job, you can have love, you can have all that. You need somebody who knows exactly what is going on and how to treat it. And that's what therapists are for. Okay. All right. So that's it. This was, our Borderlines Sociopaths. Short answer is, yes, they are.